go on. We have been stuck in these conversations for a very, very long time. But on that note, let me introduce a person who, of course, requires no introduction in this country. He's been a union minister sorting out 2G. He's been a senior advocate, now member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. Kapil Sibal, thank you very much for joining us on this special Law and Constitution dialogue. I have to ask you, sir, many congratulations for your election as president of the Supreme Court Bar Association. But you know that cases have been filed saying that lawyers should not have ideologies. I have to ask you, Mr. Sibal, you're on the hot seat. What is the ideology of Kapil Sibal? Are you a leftist? Are you a liberal?
I'm a lawyer. I mean, a lawyer has no ideology except his being wedded to the Constitution and the values that are enshrined in the Constitution. When we go to court, when we argue the case, the only Bible we have before us is the Constitution of India. We have no ideology then. We have an ideology outside the court, not within the court.
Okay, there's been a very high-profile case, the RG Khar case. You've been involved in this case, Mr. Sibal. What needs to get done for the safety of women doctors in hospitals? What can we do?
I'm not involved in the RG Khar case, hopefully. I am representing the state, which was asked by the court to give facts which the court wanted to ascertain. And so we placed those facts before the court. And I was not representing the accused. I was not representing any private party. The court made the state a party and wanted some facts which we placed before the court. And now that the investigation is over and the charge sheet has been filed, it's quite clear that there was only one person who had perpetrated this horrendous crime. And he was caught by the West Bengal police, by the Calcutta police, and he's being prosecuted. That's all that there is to it.
Mr.
As
Sibal,
far as the safety of women is concerned, I think that whatever the court had suggested, and I'm glad to say that those suggestions have been implemented in the state of West Bengal, but I think much more needs to be done in other states of this country. I think that we are concentrating only on the state of West Bengal, but we need to make sure that women are safe in every situation when it comes to serving in the hospital facility in any state in this country. And I think other states which should be parties to all this will place before the court what they have done.
Okay, all right. I have to ask you, sir, we've been having, yes. Yeah, I have to ask you, we've been having a riveting conversation, Mr. Sibal. Yes. Can you still hear us, sir?
Supreme Court.
Yeah, if you can still hear us, sir, I have to ask you, we've been having a riveting conversation through the course of the day today. And the conversation has been on the census that is coming up.
Which is going to look at all this. And I think that's a very important issue. And congratulations to the Supreme Court for having done this.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about the riveting conversation we've been having about the census that is coming up in 2025. The results will come out in 2026. Is Kapil Sibal watching out for some data points?
Why should I watch out for anything? When the detail comes, we will then reflect on what it is, what the details are, and then make our comments on it. I'm not going to, in anticipation of what might happen, make comments at this stage.
But regardless, the population is going to go up, sir. Does an India with 1.5 billion people need more parliamentarians? Do we need more MPs in the Lok Sabha, sir?
First of all, India's population, I just heard Mohan Bhagwatji say that people should you should have 3 children instead of 2. So I hope that this is not a signal to the country to increase our population, but be that as it may. I think as far as our population is concerned, we need to set systems in place because the larger the population, the more the complexities that will arise in order to serve 140 crore people in this country.
Mr. Sibal, regardless, there's an issue in the south, in the northeast, that, proportionally the seats will go down if delimitation takes place after the census. Is this a genuine concern, especially for those in the south?
This is a very contentious issue because there are states in the south who have controlled the population. And if you increase the number of seats based on population, then those who have not implemented, those who have not been able to increase levels of literacy because of which population is on the decline, they will be rewarded on grounds of increase in population. So whether it's the Northeast or it's, parts of South India or North India, I think the country needs to reflect on this before any decision is taken, and I'm sure the government will do so. But certainly, we require an increase in the number of seats in Parliament.
Okay, the seats in Parliament, well, we now have 33% reservation that is coming up for women. We are going to discuss that in our next panel. How do we go about it? Should there be rotational basis of parliamentary seats? Should the number of seats go up?
Well, this is something that the government will place before us, and then we'll respond to that. I mean, there are several possibilities that we can adopt for the purposes of representation of women. But I think that the fact that 33% representation for women has been accepted is something that we've been sort of asking for a long time.
Okay, Priyanka Gandhi, first-time member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, expected to give her first speech. What tips do you have for any first-time?
I don't give tips to anybody, and why should I give it to an individual? It's for them to decide what is central to their vision as a member of Parliament. I am nobody to give advice.
But will she be a better future PM than Rahul Gandhi? Stick your neck out, sir.
Well, why are you asking me this question? I mean, can I ask an anchor, will somebody else be better than him? I guess he will say, why are you asking me this question?
Okay, but I want to ask you a question because there's a big case that has come out of a New York prosecutor's office. How does New York have locus standi?
Locus standi?
Yeah.
Well, that's for courts in the United States to decide, not for me to decide. I mean, if the government has a problem with that, or even anybody has a problem with that, you'll have to approach that court, no? You can make political statements in India, but ultimately proceedings are going on in that court. It's that judge presiding over that court who will decide whether or not a person who's complained has local standi or not.
Okay, but with that logic, Hunter Biden, if he has any dealings with any company in India, can we prosecute him from here? Can we file charges against him and then issue him summons? Can that also then potentially take place?
Depends whether your laws permit that to be done or not. If an offense is committed by anybody anywhere in the world in India, on the soil of India, which impacts us, why should we not prosecute him? If supposing somebody comes here and murders somebody and he belongs to another country, we should not prosecute him. I guess we are entitled to prosecute him. It's an offense under the Indian laws, right?
Okay, big conversation going on in political dumb where the ruling party says that George Soros, the opposition, the Congress are all in cahoots. They're working together.
Well, I don't know. I think the government knows more about this than I do. I think I can say that lots of people are in cahoots with lots of people in India. And I can make allegations which have some element of truth. But I think this government is well aware of the fact as to who is in cahoots with whom.
Okay.
But as far as I am concerned, I have no such idea. At least I don't have any evidence to that effect.
Okay.
I mean, they know more about the deep state than I do. And maybe they are right, maybe they are wrong. Maybe it's political, maybe it's not.
Okay, you know the CAA cases, so you were very actively involved in them. Now, given what's happening in Bangladesh, because the CAA was about the Hindus fleeing from Bangladesh, given what's happening, what do you make of the situation in Bangladesh, sir?
First of all, minorities anywhere in the world must be protected. Right? A Hindu minority in Bangladesh must be protected by all means. And our government must be vocal about it. The people in India must be vocal about it. Hindus are a minority in Bangladesh, and any attempt to persecute them must be resisted, and we must articulate our vision and our opinion on these issues. And that's true of minorities anywhere in the world, including our own country.
But there are calls now for Muhammad Yunus as an undemocratic leader to be stripped of his Nobel Prize. A lot of people are discussing this globally, sir. Should that happen?
Well, why should I give an opinion on that? Those who awarded him the Peace Prize should decide whether or not he should be stripped of it.
Okay, before I let you go, sir, what is a fair, reasonable wage for a lawyer to be earning these days?
What is a fair wage for a lawyer? Whatever the client is prepared to give him. That's all. That's a fair wage. If he thinks that that he is good enough for X amount of, money to be paid for legal services. That's a fair wage. And it's for the lawyer to decide whether he'll accept the brief or not based on that wage.
Okay.
But how can I decide for a lawyer what's a fair wage?
Okay, Kapil Sibal ji, rapid fire. What is your favorite movie?
All the movies of Dilip Kumar are my favorite movies, and of course Amitabh Bachchan.
Favorite song? Favorite song? Favorite song?
My favorite song, many of Kishore Kumar, many of Rafi, mostly.
Favorite restaurant, sir? What is your favorite place to eat in Delhi?
Many. I don't have one favorite.
What about things like holiday destinations and food? Yes,
Delhi.
yes,
I
food.
don't go
Yeah.
to too many restaurants, but I don't know. It depends on what cuisine you want to eat. So for different cuisines, you have different restaurants which are very good.
Okay.
Favoritism is not a concept that I really believe in, because beauty is so diverse, right? And the palates. The palate is so diverse in itself that for different things, the dishes are favorite. Your dishes may be different, and each of them may be a favorite.
Okay, you
It's
got a diplomatic answer on a very simple question, sir. Let me ask you about favorite holiday destination then. Where do you like to travel?
Anywhere that's beautiful. But, holiday, depends on what kind of holiday again. Do you want to go and watch animals? Then your favorite place would be, maybe Corbett, maybe some other place. If you want to be by the seaside, then it's another place. How can I tell you? It's very tough to answer these questions.
Okay, Kapil.
I've never thought in terms of what, I can't now tell you who my favorite anchor is either. It depends on, different channels of different faces.
Okay, for a lot of law students sitting here, sir, 3 tips for young lawyers. Three tips
for
yes.
young. Be honest, be hardworking. Be honest, be hardworking, and be clear in what you want to say.
Okay, Kapil Sibal, thank you very much, sir. I know there are certain medical reasons you can't be with us here today, but you've taken out the time to have this conversation remotely. Really, really appreciate it. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody knows